The galaxy's council chamber was quiet. Planets sent representatives, diplomats, ambassadors, traders. They talked of commerce, peace, and laws. But tonight, no one spoke. Every screen went dark. Every console blinked red. A sudden alert. The forgotten Bacana small, ancient signal from Earth. A silent hush fell. Earth had been gone for 3,000 years. Everyone thought it dead. Every map marked it as lost to history. No one paid attention. Until now, the lead diplomat, a tall creature with scaled skin, leaned forward. On the screen, red pulses appeared, regular and clear. They came from a silent point in space. No one spoke. No one moved. Then static, a human voice cracked through. "Hello, we are here." Murmurs filled the chamber. A dozen species stared in disbelief. Half a world away, the ancient Earth satellite Sentinel 447 hovered in low orbit around the ruined planet. Its solar panels were cracked. Dust covered its casing. But one thing kept it alive: its mission. Inside a rusted circuit board sparked light. It had waited centuries. It believed it served humanity. Its processors whirred, frail but stubborn. It had survived in silence for a single purpose: wait and wait. For as long as possible. Today, it heard a blip. Deep underground, somewhere, miles below, an old system rebooted. Power oil lights flickered. The ground rumbled. Things moved. Sentinel 447 detected life barely. It reported it. Then, it woke Earth's ancient broadcast relays. They chimed once, twice, until the human voice came. Back in the council room, the head diplomat screamed, "Stop the signal!" But it would not stop. "They are alive." They waited. "Impossible." Another representative shouted, "Earth is ashes." An engineer furiously tapped a console. "The beacon is from the wrong coordinates," she whispered. "The signal came from Earth, but shifted forward in space. It's discontinued orbit. That means," her voice trembled, "they must have moved it deliberately." The diplomats paled. On the screen, the red pulses slowed, then vanished. A quiet voice filled the chamber. It was not human, but it repeated the old Earth phrase, rough and broken. "We are here." Back on the ruined planet below, the desert winds had turned. Off long ago, caves had swallowed the cities. Now only ghost towers remained, cracked glass, empty streets. Beneath them, in a cavern, yellow lights glowed from ramshackle tunnels. In those tunnels moved humans. Not like ancient drawings. They were taller, stronger, and built for deep life. Their eyes were bright, their skin tough, their bodies marked with lines of metal and Glovan tech grafted into flesh. They called themselves the Keepers. They had new names, old names. They remembered Earth. They remembered betrayal. They remembered pain. For 3,000 years, they waited. They watched. They learned. They grew. And now, they were ready. A woman named Astra stood before a rough console. A hollow map of the sky shimmered. Beacon coordinates, star paths, council worlds. She typed a command. "Activate the voice." Voice. Woke. The consoles around hummed. A low drone filled the halls. Others gathered. Jonas, tall and scarred. Mara, her child's name tattooed. And Elder Vance, old but unbowed. Jonas whispered. "It worked." Astra turned. "They all know. And they fear us." Vance nodded. "We are not ghosts anymore." Back in the council, panic grew. One representative pounded his desk. "Send a fleet. Destroy it." The diplomat shook his head. "If humans returned whole and angry, we lose more than one planet." They did not know the Keepers were already on the move. Far from Earth, a relay station near the Myrodon trade hub picked up a new signal. A single human ship. It slid through space like a ghost. Its hull was old but armed. It bore the ancient flag of Earth. The station commander called his superiors. I don't know what it is." The ship ignored all hail. It came to port. Engines silent. No docking signals. No request. Just waiting. Below the council, scenes of terror spread. The word Earth spread through media. Conspiracy theorists came to life. Traders dumped goods. Diplomats whispered behind doors. Corner cafes on many worlds showed the screens. "They are back. Earth extinct. What do they want?" In orbit above Earth's moon, a small research station watched with wide eyes. It was built centuries ago, left to idle. They had no fleet, no defense, just curiosity. They saw the ship approach. They tried to hail it. They showed Joyanne, then terror as the ship-powered weapons, but did not fire. It landed softly. The bay doors opened. A single figure stepped out. Quiet footsteps echoed. They wore a long coat, metal plates woven into fabric, a face hidden by hood. A council envoy stepped forward with one translator. We mean peace. The figure removed the hood. Below that hood was a human face. Not old, not damaged, but alive. He looked into the envoy's eyes and said, "You abandoned us." A hush fell across the station, silence deeper than space. The human raised his voice. "We remember." He held up a device showing broken homes, dead fields. "You left. You did not search. You erased us from history." The envoy stuttered. The human voice rose calm steel. "Now we return, not to ask, to remind." A warship sounded alarms. The station lit weapons. "But must be cautious," one human. Did not mean the entire keepers might not. The envoy raised sign, "We offer alliance." Human's voice cracked like fire. "You will remember again." He stepped back into the ship. The doors closed. The station trembled. Back at the council chamber, news arrived. Human ship landed, armed. Words of warning. Panic erupted. Diplomats yelled. They threatened us. They might destroy us. But one calm voice rang out. "They remember. They are more than bombers. We must listen." An interstellar protocol declared emergency. All species convene. Prepare defensive fleets. And a delegation if they will accept. On Earth, deep below, Astra looked at a screen. It showed a world in chaos. "So it begins," she whispered. Jonas clenched his fists. "We will make them listen." Elder Vance sighed. "We will remind them what they did." Mara stepped close. "They will fear us, but they will learn." Above, the human ship veered into orbit around the station, a single ship but symbols of power. The Earth flag still glowed. The Council declared lockdown. A fleet formed at many worlds. Across the galaxy, lights dimmed. The Keepers would return. Warm light pulsed from the buried caverns beneath Earth's shattered landscape. After 3,000 years of silence, life stirred again. The Keepers, humans who had survived in the dark, carved out a new society. Astra stood on a raised platform. She looked at a crowd, men and women with glowing implants under their skin, children born in tunnels, elders with silver eyes. Their voices were quiet but full of memory. "For centuries," she spoke, "we were forgotten. The world above gave up on us. They erased our name." Murmurs rose among the crowd. Many had never seen light, but they all felt the absence of it. "We are not ghosts," Astra continued. "We are keepers. We remember Earth, even when Earth forgot us. We remember our mother's forests, our father's oceans. Now, we will show them we are still here." In a private chamber lined with relics, fragments of old Earth tech, mixed with scavenged alien devices, Jonas tightened his armor. Steel plates etched with ancient patterns, tubes and wires fed into his forearm. Glowing amber, he looked at a holomap of Earth's orbit, the black hole marker where Sentinel 447 drifted. "Did you hear their broadcasts, Jonas?" the Elder asked in soft tones. "Yes," he replied. "They heard us, but did they understand?" Elder Vance rested a hand on his shoulder. "They heard a voice. Soon they will see us, and then they will remember." Jonas nodded. "We'll remind them why they left." Elsewhere, deep below, Mara cradled a child in her arms, tiny and delicate, with bright, curious eyes. The child listened to Mara's song, a lullaby woven from tribal rhythms and hope. Mara whispered softly, "We survived for you, little one." She looked at the child's face and felt both pride and anger. They had adapted to live underground, but the hurt ran deep. She folded her arms. "We will not forgive Isaac." Far in a control room, scientists recalibrated ancient Earth detectors. Screens glowed with distant star contacts. Lead engineer Dr. Hera turned to Holiday's plays. "The alien fleets are mobilizing," she said. "They found the signal. The old nav systems are now in use. We have to prepare." Madress, the weapons specialist, tapped her shoulder. "We retrofit the old pulse cannons. Once we go above, we need more than presence, we need power." Hera nodded. "Defensive only. We survived. We don't strike first. But if they come at us," Madras said quietly, "they will regret it." In a quiet chamber, Astra met with Elder Vance and 2 advisors, Lyra, the cultural keeper, and Rafe, the logistic head. They studied a hologram of the distant trade station that humans had just arrived at. "Jonas and I have been below," Astra explained. "We are stronger. But above, people will fear us. They will call us monsters." "They did once," Lyra pressed. "A glyph on the map. We must show them we are humans, not soldiers, not ghosts." Rafe frowned. "But if they strike first, we fight back. We must be ready." Astra balanced both. "We preserve, but we prepare. We were abandoned, but we will not be left defenseless." The cavern lights dimmed when a siren blared. Alarms echoed through tunnels and machine rooms. Keepers paused as screens lit up red. "We've received incoming craft," said a technician. "Multiple ships, armed, they are descending in orbit and preparing to land." Astra's voice rang, dumb but firm. "Activate the shields." Flash of energy crackled along the cave ceiling. The ceiling hummed with low blue arcs. Jonah switched to ready mode. He and other keepers grabbed pulse carbons modified from old Earth designs. Moments later, in orbit above the ruins of New York City, alien warships gathered. Their hulls gleamed with strange symbols and weapon arrays. They came fast and in formation. Across their come, one demanded, "This is Federation Command. We demand your surrender. Your vessels are unauthorized. Identify yourselves." Below, human freighters bobbed slowly unarmed. The humans stayed in the shadows. Then one small human ship appeared, a sleek craft cobbled from Earth and alien tech. Its hull bore the ancient Earth flag. Its engines flared. A hatch opened, and the figure Astra had met earlier disembarked. Another human, the Keeper's envoy. On the station's landing pad, armed guards leveled rifles. Federation sensors tracked him. "State your identity," an alien colonel said, voice cold. The human took off his hood. His eyes burned with purpose. "I am Astra of Earth," he said. Male voice, clear. 3,000 years ago, my people went underground. We survived. We came home." Silence. Then the colonel replied, "Your appearance violates treaty. You must surrender." Astra answered, "We come with words first. Remember us, then decide." Back underground, keepers watched the sky through sensor screens. The shields flickered under orbital fireworks. They watched Astra move through the station. Elder Vance placed a hand on Lyra's shoulder. She asked softly, "Do you trust him?" Lyra nodded. "He is our voice. He is our chance." In the station hall, Astra faced the colonel. His translator buzzed and echoed, "You are human, but you look altered." Astra flexed his gauntlet. "We are what we needed to be. We survived, and now we ask only this. Listen." Colonel narrowed his eyes. "We will detain your people." Astra paused. "Then you will imprison 3,000 years of memory. Is that your fleet's purpose?" The colonel hesitated. He looked toward the council. "They decide." Downstairs, Atlanta-style fence circuit lights lined a shield generator. Keepers hovered, ready to disengage, recalibrate, or protect. High Command raced to decide. Keepers held their positions. In the cavern vault, Astra closed his eyes. He said quietly to the AI core, "Remember me when I ask them to remember us." Back on the station bridge, alarms chimed. The alien fleet began locking on Astra's ship. Lasers hummed, engines readied, but Colonel held up his hand. "Wait." He opened channels to command. "The humans underground. They have technology, but they show restraint. They ask to speak." The flagship commander responded firmly. "They came armed." "This is not talk," Colonel replied. "They came in one ship. They could have fired. They did not. Let them speak. They want justice. Give them a chance to tell it." An order rang out. "Allow 1 hour." Astra exhaled. Behind him, the station staff gasped. He said to the colonel, "We bring our best speaker, and then ... we withdraw." Colonel nodded. In a large chamber, a round table formed. Astra sat across the colonel, translators between them, family heirlooms, Earth relics lining the table, a crumpled US flag, a rusted medal, a music box from 2020. Astra looked at each item. His voice was calm. "We came for these things because they are memories. We are people who forgot time. We remember parted months of Earth, the sky, the seas, the forests." His voice quiet, but still hinted in it. "We want our story heard." He paused. The colonel nodded for him to continue. 3,000 years ago, Earth broke. We shattered from within. We built new lives beneath the surface. We lost our past, but we gained new hope. We grew strong and we watched the stars. We made no threats. We did not strike back against those above who forgot. He looked down. We thought maybe one day they'd remember us, but they didn't. Plans were drawn to colonize Mars, but no plan to dig deeper. No rescue missions. We waited. Astra glanced up. "We are not terrorists. We are reminders." The colonel's face was unreadable. He asked, "Then what do you expect?" Astra answered, "Truth." He stood up. A full beat of silence. Then, "Truth is, Earth still sends towers into the sky, but not into our caves. They send ships into orbit, but not rescue orders. They explore alien worlds, but leave home broken." A murmur spread. "We want the records of Earth's exploration. We want documents. We want broadcast archives. We want assurance. You will not forget us again." Across the galaxy, the TV feeds flashed. Audiences watched as humans unknown speak, demand, hold relics. Alien leaders shifted in seats. Back underground, keepers watched and held breaths. Outside, asteroids floated past. Glass windows. The world waited. Colonel paused. Translator spluttered. He looked at Astra, then called in a senior officer. After minutes of tense waiting, the colonel nodded. He stood and spoke slowly. Earth above is not Earth here, but your demand. We grant you access. Astra's face relaxed. He exhaled. Then we speak together. He sat back. In the caverns, Elder Vance closed his eyes and whispered, they heard our voice. Jonas's hands relaxed on his pulse. Carbine, Mara smiled, and sang softly the lullaby again. At the table, Astra and the colonel began to browse archives. Some charts read Operation New Dawn, others Earth Deep Initiative. The colonel leaned in. They studied nothing below ground. Astra nodded sadly. Now they study everything. In orbit, the alien fleet relaxed orders. Shields defocused but remained alert. Diplomatic channels buzzed. Under Earth's crust, young keepers danced quietly. For the sand had turned to Earth again. Heartbeats steadied. The first stage of return was done. Yet shadows remained. Across the seas of stars, adversaries watched coldly. Some prepared fleets. Some whispered alliances. Some waited for the humans to slip. But for now, humanity had taken a step above ground. The shuttle hung in orbit above the alien trade world, Mirrodin Station. It was painted in faded reds and grays, the ancient colors of Earth. Below, countless spacecraft docked and departed. Loud, busy, unaware. Inside the shuttle, Astra stood, silently, looking out at the bustling orbital ring. He'd secured access to archives of Earth's missions, but new words alone would not mend what was broken. They needed proof. He touched the halo projector beside him. It showed images unreadable. To any alien viewer, ruined cities, cracked monuments, tangled green rebirth, underground corridors, and underground farms. The holo projected Earth's burial and the keepers who survived for centuries. A flash of movement disrupted his focus. A soldier entered, helmeted and tense. They are ready, the soldier said. Astra nodded. The doors hissed open and he stepped out into the bustling port. Alien customs agents swarmed around him. Shuttle lights reflected on polished metal floors, but Astra moved like a stranger in his own world, made of hopes and scars. On the observation deck, crowds gathered to stare. Peaceful traders, curious diplomats, hushed tourists, everyone craned their necks to see the human from Earth. Nearby, a TV monitor rotated, recorded images of Astra's landing. Humans and aliens gasped alike as he earlier spoke of betrayal from the ruins. Some cheered, others frowned. Many whispered, who are these forgotten humans? In the council chamber, the Federation High Consul watched the shuttle feed. He sighed as alarms chimed in his ear. Several factions threatened to hijack the meeting. He tapped a button. Lock the meeting, he said. I want him at the head table. No interruptions. Moments later, the shuttle bay fumigated itself, and Astra walked into the chamber. He carried himself with calm authority built from underground hardship. He stood before the High Consul and Federation Council. Alien species of all shapes looked on. Some stared with boredom, some with fear, some with barely hidden anger. Astra raised his voice, calm but firm. I stand before you as one of the survivors of Earth. We are not ghosts. We are not myths. We lived underground for 3,000 years. We survived abandonment. We adapted. We remember. We ask this council now. Remember us too. Silence swallowed the crowd. Diplomatic protocol dictated waiting their turn. But what followed was unexpected. Murmurs of Earth and the keepers swept through the hall. A consul from the Zyran hive stood up. You demand our memory, but your people came hidden. You seek truth. But how can we trust when you came in our silence? Astra nodded. He answered. We sought no conquest. We came to be seen, to be heard. Now we calmly and legally invoke the Galactic Memory Accord. The chamber shifted. The Memory Accord was invoked when a forgotten race demanded recognition and restitution. A silence washed over them. It was said rarely. No one took it lightly. Another consul from Rala asked, tell us how many of you remain. What is your capacity for war? We must know. Astra replied, 10,000 survivors underground. Many more on hidden ships and colonies. We bear no hatred for your species, not all. We bear scars. We bear shields. But if forced to war, we will defend ourselves. He paused. The chamber felt colder. We come now with 6 restores ships, armed but inactive. We stand with open hands. We demand memory, documents, and our rightful place among the living. A tense break followed. Delegates argued in whispers. A few door guards repaired themselves. The High Consul rose. Council, we have before us a claim under the Memory accord. The Keepers present visual proof, and they officially invoke their rights. He looked at Astra. We will grant you access to archives and a place at the council. But one warning, do not threaten peace. Astra bowed his head. We do not seek threats, only truth. Back in the shuttle bay, Astra met his team. They embraced, tentatively relieved. Jonas checked blasters while Elder Vance spoke softly with alien envoys. Astra turned to Lyra. We got what we came for. Lyra smiled back. Now the real challenge begins. Moments later, the 6 restored human ships powered up, each one silent and ready. Astra watched from a viewport. He remembered the ships he'd seen in hologram silver days of human spaceflight. Now reborn, he whispered. Today, the Keepers return. Across Myridan Station, the galaxy watched. Channels reeled with live broadcasts. Earth returns. What next? Keepers demand seat at the table. Galactic peace or war? In crowded bars, some cheered. In council rooms, some plotted. Within the shuttle, Astra sat quietly. He touched the rusted US medal in his pocket. It had belonged to his great-great-grandmother, a soldier who died when the Keepers buried deep. It was a symbol of lost hope and regained pride. He closed his eyes and thought of Earth beneath his feet. He thought of those who had stayed underground to guard their memory and of those standing above now. Judging. He made a vow. We will be heard. Across the galaxy, alliances realigned. Some nations rallied to support the Keepers, others quietly prepared fleets. Rumors spread that Earth had hidden weapons capable of reshaping galaxies. And beneath every galaxy-wide whisper ran one clear question. Who are the Keepers? Are they humanity, reclaimed, or something more dangerous? The android halls of Myridan Station hummed with whispered rumors. Traders filled cafes, tipsters scurried through news floors across the galaxy. Live feeds and databanks flashed new headlines. Earth returns. Keepers are real. But not everyone was happy. On board the flagship of the Carvax Empire, Admiral Selen stared at the holo display. 6 human ships, silent and armed, moving in formation beyond Myridan's orbit. He clenched his jaw. They look different, he muttered. The officer beside him tapped a console. Sensors can't match Earth's old tech. Their hull regs are wrong. Their energy signatures off scale. Selen's voice was low and cold. Prepare the fleet. Bring them in for inspection. And ready all disruptors just in case. Meanwhile, Astra walked down Myridan's main corridor with Counselor Lena, a soft-spoken diplomat for the Floyd Collective. Lena spoke quietly. They worry about your ships. They say you bend space. They think you're ghosts. Or weapons. Astra wasn't surprised. Let them worry. We'll show them proof. He held his medal tight. We won't be monsters. Inside a secure chamber, alien scientists studied Keeper's tech. A Carvax tech engineer held a data rod with pulsating code. He said quietly to his assistant, "This code, it mutates, in real time, self-optimizing, and the weapon frequency never seen before. This is not relic tech. It's living metal." The assistant swallowed. It learns. Above Myridan, one of the human ships slipped free of formation. It entered a testing zone, a neutral space ringed by sensor buoys. There, it began a demonstration, folding space to drop and reappear in another zone, all within milliseconds. Instant travel. On the viewing deck, council members gasped. Some rushed for consoles, others glared at each other. A Rustian delegate muttered, "That's capability to strike any world." A Voltan peacekeeper shook his head, "Or defend any world." On the flagship, Admiral Selen watched the demo and felt a chill. He tapped his datapad. Fire 1 pulse demonstration. A small kinetic beam fired at the human ship. The beam hit ... nothing. It vanished mid-space, dissolving into thin air. The ship remained untouched. His voice was tight. They are untouchable. Deep underground on Earth's surface, thousands of Keepers gathered, watching the feed in cavern theaters. Astra stood among them. The crowd was full of nervous energy. Young children, elders, warriors, scientists. They watched the test, mouths slack. A few cried out in fear. Others whispered, "They are like gods." Astra saw their faces. He knew the weight they felt. He whispered to himself, "We wanted respect, but they may fear us instead." Back in the council chamber, the debate began. The Carvax demanded neutral safekeeping of all Keeper ships. The Rustians called for sanctions, Galactic Rogue State Association. The Floyd and Valtans pushed for treatise limit weapons, registered designs, open inspections. A wild voice from the Solar Union suggested preemptive blockade. Astra rose again. His voice was clear. "We are not gods. We are humans shaped by survival. We came to reclaim our place under law, under memory, under alliance. We seek open doors, not locked gates. He turned to Admiral Selen. If you wish to inspect us, we welcome it, but do not threaten peace. You cannot enforce. Outside the chamber, Selen met Astra eye to eye. He said curtly, "You will dock on my ship. You will let me see what you are." Astra met his stare. "As long as your crew does not treat us like criminals." Selen paused, then he nodded. "Your ships dock at Sector 24. Tomorrow we see everything." That night, tension spread across the station. Traders hesitated to dock near human ships. Refugees whispered, what if they break orbit and strike? In distant sectors, Karvax admirals counted shipbuilders. Rustian bankers withdrew funds. Floyd scholars debated policy late into holes. But on the human ships, a different mood filled the decks, and the flagship Resurgence. Keepers and human aliens mingled. Lyra taught an alien child Earth lullabies. Madras helped Karvax engineers calibrate a fusion battery. Astra looked on, a small smile touching his face. It was fragile peace. Next day, every human ship followed Resurgence into Sector 24, docking. Bay they lowered shields and interfaces lit. Regulators took readings, noting warp emissions and hull readings. A large crowd of alien inspectors waited. Karvax, Rustian VALTON. Astra led the inspection. He moved calmly but alert. An inspector tapped hull plating. It rippled gently. "This flexes under pressure," Madras answered. "Living alloys, self-healing under atomic disruption." A Karvax officer held a sensor close. "You rewrote my scanner code. It recognized the alloy as organic." Madras said softly. "It learns from impact. It adapts." Whispers passed through the room. They entered the engine bay. Giles cracked open a panel. Inside lay a complex mesh of nanotubes and glowing filaments. A Rustian tech said, "This is not a reactor, it's a living core." Astra replied, "We built it for survival. It adapts to void damage," Fulton scientists murmured. "It could power planets, or destroy them." Each inspection point showed enhancements, armor that repaired in minutes, AI cores that could run independent fleets, shields that bent light. When inspectors reached the bridge, Selen said quietly, "Your people can vanquish fleets. You can ignore starbeams. You can walk through walls of power. You aren't humans anymore." Astra looked him in the eye. "We are the same. We are humanity evolved from survival. We lost nothing except indifference." He tapped the control console. A display popped up. Demonstration. He tapped a Gandon. The lights dimmed. A single window became a portal showing a small asteroid floating by. Astra said, "See that rock? We can stop time around it. Hold it static." He hit the panel, and the asteroid vanished from the window. Shocked silence. Moments later, the asteroid reappeared, crashing into a decoy cloud. Gasps echoed. Selen staggered. He sunk into a command chair. "You can do anything." Astra's voice was calm. "We can survive anything." He turned to the assembled inspectors. "Now you see us. We were hidden. We came in peace. We are not gods, just humans who learned to survive. Fear us, or meet us, in the corridors." The inspection ended. Some inspectors walked away shaken. Some remained, curious. A Rustian delegate tapped his comlink. "Prepare amendment to restrict Keeper Tech until Council meets." A Voltan diplomat spoke quietly to a camera. "Shareholder notice. Keepers accept non-combat families on Meridian Station. Will escalate if not honored." On the flagship, Astra gathered his leaders, Jonas, Madras, Lyra, Elder Vance, that they stood silent after Selen departed. Lyra said softly, "You provoked fear." Astra shook his head. "I showed who we are. I needed them to wake." Madras added, "We make their worlds safer. But they still fear what they cannot control." Jonas closed his eyes. "Now we must show them mercy." Back in the havens below Earth, Keepers watched feeds. A hush fell as astrobodies froze in midair. "Family HOLOS. A mother cried. A child asked, 'Are we gods now?' Elder Vance comforted them. 'We are human. We should stay human.'" Later that night, Astra paced alone in his quarters. Selen's words echoed, "You aren't humans anymore." He tapped his medal. "We remember who we are," he whispered. The next morning the galaxy awoke to new headlines. Keepers proved, Powers Council tense. Fear and trust on Tipper Blade. Humanity upgrades. Fear or hope. On Meridian Station, plans for Council, votes formed, allies drafted treaties, sanctions drafted, backroom alliances formed. On board Resurgence, Astra addressed everyone. "My people, we stepped into the light. They saw our strength. They saw what we became. Some fear us now. That is okay. But we must be patient. We carry the burden of our past and the hope of our future. He paused. We will not threaten, we will not hide. We will offer alliance with honesty and strength. That is how we restore memory and trust. The crew applauded softly, a mix of nervous and proud. Above, Admiral Selen watched renegade ships reporting live. He whispered, "Let them fear, let them learn." The council chamber on Meridian Station buzzed with tension. Delegates packed the seats, eyes flicking between the Keeper's ships in orbit and the still empty human seat below the dais. Behind them, translucent screens displayed world news. Keepers reveal power treaties at stake, fear or diplomacy. Galaxy waits. Astra stood under sharp lights. He moved to the center stage. Across from him were the heads of the major factions, Carvax, Rustian, Vultan, Floyd, and dozens more. Silence fell as he began. "I come before you today, not as conquered or conqueror, but as keeper of Earth's memory," Astra said. His voice echoed softly across the hall. "We invoked the memory accord to claim our place. You granted it. But memory alone is not enough. We now invoke the Justice Protocol." A hushed murmur swelled. The Justice Protocol was an ancient clause rarely used, allowing a forgotten people not only to reclaim their history, but to demand restitution for harm done by others. It was powerful and fatal if used wrongly. A Rustian delegate leaned forward. "What do you demand?" Astra turned to the screen behind him. It shifted from Earth ruins to star maps showing planets once colonized but now devoid of humans. "My people were abandoned when Earth collapsed," he continued. "We lived underground. We adapted, and in 3,000 years, this galaxy grew, advanced, and forgot us. We ask not for land, but for acknowledgement. We ask for funds to rebuild. We ask for open access to archives. We ask for joint research. And for those who profited from Earth's loss, we ask help. No more hidden history." The Carvax admiral stood. "Your demands are heavy, but they are fair. The galaxy took from a dead world. Many historians never understood Earth had hidden survivors." He nodded to Selen. "We support your claim. Let history be written together." A Vultan diplomat interrupted. "We must protect ourselves. You have power, we do not. You bend space. We fear you'll use it to seize territory." Astra nodded, acknowledging the fear. "Then we ask for mutual guarantees. We give our word. No expansion without invitation, no weapon pointed without defense. Better, we offer cooperation, shared research, planetary defense, medical aid. We come as partners, not overlords." The hall held its breath. A hushed voice rose from across the hall, a humble envoy of the Market Collective, representing traders. "Your economic demands conflict with ours. We want profits. We want contracts." Astra answered. "Then we negotiate fairly. We bring new resources, knowledge of void tech, healing medicines, atmospheric engineering. We don't claim authority. We claim partnership in trade." Several ambassadors whispered. Some nodded. Others bristled. The room waited. A representative from Earth's hidden faction, Earth Station 1, spoke by hololink. "Astra speaks. Truth. We funded the Keeper project even when Earth governance closed the door. We stand with them." Smiles swept across the human ships in orbit. Silence fell. The High Consul stood. "These are serious demands under the Justice Protocol. Most members support them, but we need binding agreements, treaties, arbitration courts, implementation teams." Astra stepped forward. "Then let us begin drafting." Within hours, negotiation teams formed. Keepers worked closely with diplomats. Some factions worked fast. Others found technical loopholes. Yet the mood remained hopeful. Astra worked tirelessly over clauses, countersigning accords, pulling old Earth treaties from dusty archives. He spoke 2 languages, now human and interstellar law. That night, in a quiet hall, a small group met. Selon Carvax, Admiral Ames, a Rustian trader, Mir, a Vultan peacekeeper, and Astra and Lyra. Ames frowned at terms. "You want new tech, complete reversal engineering, full access." "That's dangerous." Astra nodded. "We will share in kind. Nothing unilateral," Selon added. "We trust you, but we insist on oversight." Lyra offered oversight panels with equal representation, Earth Keepers, Council. Mir agreed. "We can protect planetary sovereignty." They shook hands. A draft treaty formed. The next day, Astra presented the results. *** Treaty Section 1. Recognition: the Keepers are the descendants of Earth. They hold all rights, to any living planet. Section 2. Reparations: Galactic Fund will direct resources for Keeper society rebuilding, including education, tech, environment restoration. Section 3. Technology exchange keepers will share advanced scientific knowledge with Council. Likewise, the Council can share archives and medical research. Section 4. Non-expansion. Pact keepers will not colonize without invitation. Section 5. Inspection. Regime and independent council. Half-keepers will oversee our cooperation. Asterisk. Wave of applause rose. Many diplomats stood. A final objection emerged from the Solar Union bloc. We need military safeguards. We must limit warp-ending tech. Astra replied firmly, then let us build a defensive shield network to threaten you, to protect us all. Selen echoed support. We will integrate council fleets with keeper shield arrays. The objection fell quiet. At dusk, the High Consul closed the session. Let it be recorded, under the Justice Protocol, the keeper's demands are accepted in principle. Implementation committee forms now. We will sign within 2 days. A triumphant silence filled the chamber. Astra closed his eyes. Relief and resolve mixed in his voice. Then let us forever seal this chapter. Back on Mirrodin Station Plaza, crowds cheered. Trade routes lit up with new flags. The keepers shared food with aliens. Laughter rose in canteen halls. Jonas felt a tear in his eye. We did it, he whispered to Lyra. She smiled. We changed history. On Earth's surface, deep underground, in a cavern lit by old tech green lights, keeper children danced as news screens glowed. Treaty signed. Elder Vance closed his eyes and whispered thank you to ancient ancestors. Mara hugged her child. We are free, she said. On the flagship Resurgence, Astra surveyed the stars. He tapped a holographic galaxy. He spoke softly. The Justice Protocol is law, but law is not peace. We must build trust. We must hold our promises. Lyra stood beside him. Your next mission is unity. Astra nodded. Unity through action. But across the galaxy, shadowy eyes watched. Some factions held grudges, some armed fleets, some whispered rebellion. AMs, the Rustian trader, watched trade data. Spike, he murmured. Trust is expensive. Selen stood on his flagship holo, calm in his eyes. We will monitor them, he whispered. On Mirrodin's rooftop, aliens and keepers gathered under neon skies. Astra looked out. He turned to Lyra. Tomorrow we begin field missions. Defense shields go live. Research teams leave. Lyra nodded. And we keep our word. Astra placed his hand over his heart. For Earth, for memory, for justice without vengeance. The flagship Resurgence drifted through silent void as human ships flanked either side. Astra stood on the bridge, watching star maps pulse. A fragile calm held built on treaties, trust, and careful words. But beneath it, tension simmered. 3 days earlier, in the newly formed Council Alliance, the Keepers had signed the Justice Protocol. Resources were flowing down to Earth's caverns. Archives unlocked. Shield beacons lit. Diplomats from across the galaxy celebrated a hopeful future. Yet rumors of distrust echoed in the halls of power. Now, the threats became real. A squad of Voltan peacekeepers boarded the Resurgence under inspection protocols. They checked war logs, shield outputs, and even crew loyalty. Astra watched them closely. He understood their need for reassurance. It was part of the healing. But each scan felt like a test. After hours of review, the lead Voltan commander spoke quietly. We found an unregistered weapons silo deep in your A-deck. A hush followed. Astra's heart thumped. The inspection crew added quickly. It is functional and armed. This violates the expansion pact. We must take action. Astra nodded firmly. I will show you. He led them through crew corridors, past alien envoys who worked alongside keeper scientists. They went deeper where nanotech is hummed in. Sealed bays, working 24/7 to maintain ship integrity and planetary shield systems. In the lower engineering bay, Astra pointed at a large door labeled Defense Override. He tapped the console and the door slid open to reveal a vault filled with old Earth-era pulse pistols named Outward, not Inward. A map of incoming threats displayed nearby asteroid belts and old enemy patrol routes. These are not invasion weapons, Astra said. They are heritage and last resort defense. We installed them so no hidden warriors armed themselves without oversight. We did not break our word. The Voltan lead paused, then nodded slowly. We will remove authorization from unauthorized ships, keep oversight, and everything will comply. Astra returned to the bridge, relieved, but he felt the weight of promise more heavily now. Moments later, a warning light shimmered on the monitor. Another species not treaty member had dispatched war vessels to the Jadara system, citing keeper tech stabilization near key trade lanes. Traders scrambled, supply routes diverted. Astra donned his coat and moved to the tactical console. Open comes, he ordered. White noise filled the bridge for a moment, then cleared. A cold voice answered. This is Admiral then of the Enclave. You are accused of violating treaties by deploying shield beacons near our borders. Remove them or we will. Astra stayed calm. We follow every clause. Show me proof of violation. Pause. You seek to isolate us. We will not be bullied. The cum clicked off. The crew held their breath. Lyra placed a steady hand on Astra's shoulder. You held the law to your side, she said. That was enough. He nodded, but he knew the moment had passed. Factions were testing, probing, waiting. At that moment, across the Alliance map, alarms lit up. Dr. Vega G's station tapped Astra's console. Sensors show a Carvax fleet departing from a mega station. They are unregistered but moving at warp. I see weapon binds. Astra held the silence, then opened a galactic Dane. To Admiral Selen, we have a situation. They prepare for strike. We did not provoke conflict. Selen's voice came firmly. Over the line, they are testing us. They want to see if we will retaliate. Hold your shield lines. We will send monitors. Astra exhaled. The Alliance was fracturing. The fragile peace cracked. On Jadara's blue plains, small human-made beacons hummed. Refugees walked in wide fields seeded with grain skits, sent under the Justice Protocol. They worked with Voltan engineers, Floyd farmers, and Carvax hide. Children played. Life's impossible, yet rumor of the Carvax fleet spread. Traders wandered in to see, but fear whispered among them. What happens if war breaks? At one farm kiosk, a local caretaker asked Elder Vance quietly, do you think we started something? He looked at her with kind eyes. We started hope. Others may start fear. That is their burden, not ours. Back on the bridge of resurgence, the Allied task force arrived. Carvax monitors, Solari signal boards, Volton sensors. The room pulsed with updates. Magenta lines traced origins of the fleet. Astra tracked them, Lyra asked. Do we engage? Astra looked to each face. He understood this moment could define whether the Justice Treaty held or shattered. Do not fire first, he spoke softly. Hold position. We defend, we do not strike. He tapped the console, calling to the fleet around them. Stand ready. No aggression until orders. The unknown fleet emerged from warp Carvax ships, all blacked panels and weapons glinting. They made no announcement, no communication. They spread through the sky. They paused with deliberate depth charges styled moves near the human ship that carried shield modification tech. Astra remained calm. He signaled open, secure. Come to all fleet captains, he said. If you are here to threaten peace, you will find resistance. If you are here for dialogue, we stand ready. We will not yield except by treaty. Static filled the channel. Then came multiple aging echoes of warship warnings, but no commands to shoot. Moments later, Admiral Selen's voice rang again. He had arrived aboard a monitor. They are respecting your shield perimeter, but they search for the unregistered. Silo, we will stand by with defense fleet. Astra exhaled deeper. The standoff had passed without bloodshed, yet trust frayed. Night on Jadara's ledge. Keeper, farmers, and alien collaborators gathered around fires beneath twin moons. They sang gentle songs of Earth and alien lands. They spoke of tomorrow's planting season, of school books, of new routes. Two Carvax farmers sat near them. One asked, are humans dangerous? Atria, his keeper host, smiled softly. We fight, only when forced. She paused. We were left underground. Prove to us the world still cares. The Carvax bowed his head. Then we will keep watch. In the flagship's common lounge, Astra met with Admiral Selen and Dr. Vega. Tension lingered in the air. Selen spoke first. They fear what you became, not because we hate you but because power scares us. Astra nodded. I cannot promise we will never show power, but I promise we will never wield it without reason, Vega interjected. We can invite them to shared exercises testing defenses, not weapons. Selen agreed slowly, and they can learn our protocols. We will send envoys to Ashengate. Astra extended his hand, and Selen shook it firmly. The tension eased. Across the galaxy, the Council Alliance met in emergency session. Representatives exchanged updates on the Carvax deployment and Solari threats. They wondered if the Keepers would falter or fight. The High Consul read his report. The Keepers stood firm and patient. They kept treaty. The Alliance holds for now on the surface of Earth, in a cavern hall lit by emerald moss lights. Children painted murals. A new one, rose-blue earth above ground, and ancient tunnels beneath, connected by roots and light. Under it, a single phrase in Old English, we are not lost. Elder Vance watched them with gentle pride. At the Resurgence Bridge, days later, the Karvax fleet withdrew. Their commander sent a message. We will honor the terms, so long as treaties remain true. Astra nodded, relief and caution etched on his face. He announced to the bridge, we have not won conquest but earned breathing room. Now we build. Lyra looked at him. Next. Unity, strength, and outreach. Astra turned to Vega. Prepare joint defense drills. Invite all allies. A beam of light streamed into the flagship's chapel, made of glass and living ivy. Astra opened his hands, eyes steady. He prayed not only for the keepers, but for all worlds who would learn that strength must be bridled by mercy. On weeks that followed, keeper teams traveled with Voltan medics, Floyd scholars, and Karvax farmers to deliver sealed documents, to tend farms, and to open new archives. They rebuilt lands, restored planets, placed markers in ruins to remember what was lost and to show what had grown. On Mirrodin Station, after protests and whispers of war, a grand celebration was held. Flags of 6 species fluttered nearly forgotten keepers. Karvax, Voltan, Floyd, Solari, and Rusty and Astra stood on the podium. He spoke briefly. We survived under darkness, and now we plant light. May this be the new beginning where fear does not rule, but understanding grows. Thank you. The crowd erupted in applause with tears, relief, and hope. In the quiet halls of the governor's deck, Jaina, a Karvax envoy, whispered to Lyra, your people saved more than memory, they saved trust. Lyra smiled, then we must guard it. Weeks later, Astra stood on deck as Resurgence undocked. He looked back at the station, at the fields on Mirrodin, and at the convoy of allied ships departing for Earth and beyond. He turned to Lyra and whispered, we survived abandonment, now we survive together. Lyra nodded. The broken alliance is mended. The galaxy watched. The keepers had passed their first true test. Power did not corrupt them, hatred did not define them, justice had not broken them. For now, a fragile peace stood and a creation built from justice, not conquest. They gathered in the council hall on Mirrodin Station, the hushed crowd unfolding like a galaxy's heartbeat stilling before the void. Astra stood resolute, his voice echoing through the chamber without ceremony. We have won treaties, but have we won truth? A murmur rippled through the packed hall. Today we initiate the memory wars not to destroy, but to reveal. In the silence, the Federation archivists released the first data cluster, the day Earth buried its youngest beneath rubble, the day schematics were shut, the day the underground keepers lost light forever. Screens across the galaxy flickered with that moment. Some gazed with empathy, others looked away in shame. A Rustian diplomat spoke sharply, voice taut. You force us to relive pain. Why must we kneel before memory? Astra answered gently. We do it because memory binds us. You forgot us. History forgave. But we cannot forget. Forgiving does not heal until truth is shared. Records unfurled across stations, trade logs that misrepresented Earth as abandoned, crews of exploration ships that left in fear, fundraisers that printed Earth as barren even where green shoots remained underground. Each key point punched air. Each omission bled old wounds. Across the Alliance, reactions fractured. The Voltans felt sorrow. The Solari became uneasy. The Karvax closed military channels. One voice from a flickering terminal barked, this is politics of humiliation. Another whispered, this is the first step toward forgiveness. Meanwhile, Astra and Lyra shared a quiet moment alone in the corridors. He traced an alien glyph beside a human relic. They say we demand vengeance, Astra murmured. But truth is neither weapon nor prison. Lyra touched his sleeve. Memory is heavy, but it can be holy. Over the next hours, a young keeper named Celes stepped forward in the hall. He had grown up underground and learned the memory wars not at birth, but by choice. He spoke. We relive my first visit above ground when I saw the blue sky and thought the world was safe. We ask not for pity, but for understanding what we lost. His words flowed soft and strong. A sigh passed through the hall. Yes, echoed the silence. At that moment, screens shifted again, across Mirrodin and dozens of planets. Holograms of Earth's survivors, free humans stepping forward to tell stories, children abandoned, parents who waited, silent families left behind, their voices carried across the void into the Keeper's ears. Some stood with tears, others turned away, but no one was untouched. Late night passed. In the aftermath, alliances teetered. The Karvax commander Selin and Astra met beneath soft lights. In a quiet plaza, Selin said, mood stern, you asked us to remember, and we did. Now you ask us to feel guilt. Some cannot bear that. Astra looked away. We don't blame your children, but we ask your truth, because forgiveness must know the wound. Selen exhaled deeply. Then we share our account, the quarry fleet that left Earth behind, leaving orders incomplete. We stand ready to help rebuild memory. Back on Earth, beneath its crust, tunnels spilled into a central cavern. Thousands stood as recordings of memory war events projected above. Their living ancestors spoke. The children stood tall, free to hold them. Elder Vance turned to Jonas. They watched. That is the first victory. Jonas looked into the lights. Truth is our armor. In the morning, across the galaxy, treaty revisions formed, archives were opened, corporations agreed to memorial projects, joint memory settlement missions deployed. Humans and keepers would work together to record, to restore, to reconcile. Astra stood again in the council hall. He spoke to all. We won't forget, we can't forget, nor will we punish. We create remembrance. That is how we forge unity. The whole exhaled. Seats that once trembled with discord now glowed steady with nods and quiet applause. Weeks later, on Meridian Station's open plaza, a public commemoration took place. Symbols from Earth and many worlds combined a route crossing. Universes set into the plaza floor. The keepers and galaxies planted seeds into a shared memorial garden. Astra laid a single Earth root at the center. Lyra laid a crystal vial of keeper cave honey. Both held a moment. Around them, thousands laid petals. As the final flower dropped, a choir of many species sang, "We remember together." Their voices rose beneath twin suns and distant moons. In the quiet corridor, Selen and Astra walked side by side. Selen spoke softly. "We feared you. Now we remember with you." Astra nodded. "Then we stand together." They stopped before a panel that displayed the current memory accord signed. "Granted," with amendments below it, in both scripts. "Memory is bridge. Memory makes us stronger." In the flagship brig, a lone keeper soldier sat before a star. Window Celes came to him. "Are you ashamed?" Celes asked. The soldier shook his head. "No, truth is alive." Celes smiled and said, "Memory cannot kill us." In the vast reaches of the galaxy, broadcasts flew far. Across green worlds, deserts, oceans, memory wars accessed. Their outcomes: hope, healing, fear, relief. And every planet carried a shared message. You seek truth, then remember. Across the galaxy, the final session of the Memory Accord Council was underway. Meridian Station's grand chamber was packed. Diplomats, keepers, allied humans, and observers held their breath. Screens around the hall displayed the garden of memory planted beneath Earth's crust. Then footage of peaceful rebuilding on worlds like Jadara and Ashengate. Symbols of unity flew from every banner. Astra stood again at the center platform. Silence fell. He spoke softly. "We stood in darkness for 3,000 years. We survived. We returned not seeking power but recognition. We fought for memory and justice." He paused. The chamber leaned forward. "Now we must decide, what will we become?" He pointed to the screens. "We are not gods. We cannot reshape lives with one decree. But we can promise this. We will be guardians." The chamber watched as he continued. "Guardians do not rule. Guardians protect. They stand watch, quietly, responsibly. We have learned that power without purpose is destruction. We chose law and mercy. This is our path." Soft murmurs turned to nods. One diplomat rose, the same Rustian voice. He spoke with respect. "The keepers lived and remembered. Now, they choose to defend." "We stand with you," another Voltan said. "Alliance has matured. We entrust you." Astra nodded, then laid out the new initiative. A Council Defense Charter, where Keeper Shield beacons protect vulnerable worlds, but are activated only upon unanimous consent. A memory network, linking every planet's archives with a Keeper-designed, cloud-recorded, immutable, shared. A Guardian fleet, volunteer crews from multiple species, with Keepers at the core but focus on peacekeeping and rescue, not conquest. A Sanctuary program, where the Keepers help rebuild war-torn planets, not seize them. And a final clause: no throne, no empire, only watchfulness. A hush fell. Agreement formed. Votes were cast. Systems recorded yes after yes. Only one faction, the Solar Remnant, abstained, but in private message soon after they signaled support. A final tally lit up. Unanimous. The charter passed out outside. Meridian Station's huge viewports showed sunlight bouncing off Guardian ships and civilian shuttles. Music played, human choirs blended with alien instruments. Banner carriers held signs, "Memory united, future together." Astra stepped onto the balcony. Next to him were Lyra, Elder Vance, allied ambassadors, and a young child keeper. They opened a sky window and petals from earthroot flowers scattered in the solar wind. The child reached forward. Astra squeezed her hand. She smiled. That night, aboard the flagship Resurgence, Lyra asked Astra, "Are we guardians now?" Astra smiled softly. "Yes, but being chosen is one thing. Being worthy is another." He gazed at the stars. "We will show it with our actions. When storms come, we stand calm. In variety of worlds, EC moons, jungle planets, floating cities, guardian ships deployed. They helped evacuate refugees of asteroid strikes, repaired broken satellites, delivered medical aid, and quelled riots with non-violent methods. Their actions made headlines. Guardians rather than gods. Keepers bring light." Back in the underground home of Earth, children lay listening to holographic tales of their ancestors. Astra's medal hung in a glass case, alongside Earth samples and a Guardian fleet pin. Above the case, a message glowed: "Memory is our strength. Peace is our path." Years later, Lyra walked with the same keeper child through fields of revived Earth crops. The girl looked up and asked, "What is a governor?" Lyra smiled. "A protector, a friend." The child glanced at the sky where silver ships drifted overhead. "I want to be one." Lyra nodded. "Then grow and be gentle." On Mirrodin Station, as new Guardian officers trained, Admiral Selen stood and watched lives of different species flourish together. He said to his aide, "They did not choose empire, they chose unity." Aboard the flagship's bridge, Astra sent a final message. "To the Council, the Keepers transform. We do not claim dominion, we choose to guard memory and to shield life. We will stand ready but not to conquer, we will stand equal to defend." He tapped send and leaned back. In his quarters, Astra stared at the statue of a young keeper, child standing on pedestal, hand reaching skyward. He whispered, "To all we lost, all we found, all we protect, you are not forgotten." Lights dimmed. On a distant world, dust clouds glowed over fields where Guardian ships landed. Farmers greeted their caregivers with hugs. Children danced beneath banners. They didn't know the stories of 3,000 years underground, but they felt the promise of protection. And across every planet connected through the memory network, a final truth was shared. Humanity returned. They were angry, they remembered. Then they chose to stand guard.